it's more likely that there will be effects of many and various kinds, because the body is an electrochemical organism, and it has an optimum electrochemical balance, and we call that health. When you imbalance that through introducing chemicals and electromagnetic sources, then you move it from optimum, and it no longer works correctly, emotionally, mentally, or physically. And if you look at the cumulative chemical onslaught, particularly on children, but people in general, in food, drink, soft drinks, and mobile phones and all that stuff on the electromagnetic side, humans are being bombarded 24/7 by sources of chemical and electromagnetic imbalance. And when you look at the graph of the rise in childhood behavior problems and the rise in additives in food, they're like a magnet. They're so go up together. There's a war on our children's minds, there's a war on our children's immune systems, and there's a war on our children's emotional balance. And it's connected into all these different areas of food, of drink, and of vaccines, of pharmaceutical medicines, of all this kind of Ritalin now, which they're handing out like Smarties, for something called attention deficit disorder, which almost certainly doesn't exist. I had attention deficit disorder when I was at school.
Most kids are.
It was called being bored frickin' stiff of the nonsense they were trying to get me to believe, and so my attention deficit was transferred to watching the games period of the football on the on the field, and they invent diseases so that problem, or in this case no problem, reaction, solution. Take this.
It's like the 1976 US swine flu. There was loads of scary adverts on TV.
Oh yeah.
Betty went to the shop and she gave it to, and there was all that kind of stuff. And as it went on, the music got darker,
Yeah.
the voice echoed. It was really, and then they showed people kind of playing golf and then shivering in bed.
This is it. The whole foundation of it is a mind game.
Yeah.
It's about the manipulation of our perception of everything, because our perception leads to our behaviour and our actions. If you're going to control someone's actions, then you need to control their perception, because that controls their actions. And the perception they want people in more than anything is danger, danger, danger. Because once you get someone in fear of something, they will look outside of themselves for something or someone to protect them from what they've been manipulated to fear. So get them to fear swine flu, they will then say, save me from swine flu, okay,
Thank you very
give
much.
us your arm.
Good night.
Right, give us your children's arm. Oh no,
Yeah.
oh darling, you must be vaccinated, the swine flu's coming.
Yeah.
Pathetic.
But the vaccine for the swine flu in '76 killed people. It caused, you were saying about the immune system, caused an autoimmune response where the immune system turns on itself. People ended up with Guillain-Barré syndrome, where they were paralysed or kind of badly disabled. You know, I mean, just doing a little bit of research I've done, and you know, backed up by what you just said, I would never, ever, you know, let someone stick a vaccine in me, you know, with mercury and everything you were saying.
All people have got to do, go on the internet and put in 1976 swine flu conspiracy or words to that effect, or go into YouTube and see the adverts they put out in '76 to frighten people into being vaccinated for an epidemic that did not happen, and the consequences of it. People died, people had their minds scrambled. It was, and they want to do that now on a massive scale. What they do, you see, is they have their version of trials. They've got a big version of something coming, but further down the line, or back down the line, they try it out, and what they're looking for is, will the public do it? Will the public stand for it? Will the public react the way we want?
Right.
And they are scanning public reaction and public response, and if they need to tweak it a bit, then they can tweak it when the big one comes. And so '76 was a trial, a run through, and now they want to play the big one, because when you look at the number of people worldwide who die in road accidents, who die from heart attacks, who die from cancer, the cure for which they have, by the way. The Rockefeller Institute has that, and they keep it under wraps because they don't want people being cured of cancer, they want people dying of cancer. That's what they want. I mean, you have to switch your understanding and your point of observation.
But where does that point come from about the Rockefeller having a cancer?
Well, first of all, I met a CIA scientist in 1997 who gave me chapter and verse on the whole thing, including the fact that he'd had cancer himself.
Right.
And because they wanted to keep him alive, he was an expert in the area of magnetics, they gave him this serum, and he took the serum and his cancer disappeared. He was then approached by a friend of his for someone else who had cancer, and he said, "You haven't got any of that serum left, have you?" He said, "Well, I've got some." He said, "But you must tell your friend he must not reveal this any way, shape or form. Not because it shouldn't be out there, but because of consequences for me."
Yeah.
So what happened then is this guy was given the serum and told, "Don't tell anybody." He took it to his doctor and asked him if he should take it. Within 24, 48 hours, and he told him where he got it from, the CIA scientist got a call from the American Medical Association, which is all part of the racket. British Medical Association, American Medical Association, when they make a statement, it's on behalf of the agenda, not on behalf of truth. And what this scientist did was got onto a friend of his at the CIA to get onto the guy at the AMA to try to put the frighteners on him. "What are you doing? Talking to one of my people, leave it alone," and all the rest of it. Because they know that the cure for cancer exists. Have you noticed how these people live so long? Look at Kissinger, look at Father George Bush, look at David Rockefeller. Do they have the same stuff that we get?
They look
Kidding?
ancient, don't they?
Oh, they live. Look at the Queen Mother. Look at them, and they do not use the same treatment.
How long did she live for? She was in.
She was 102.
Sorry?
102, wasn't she? Queen Mother. And they just let us have the other stuff. We're just cattle to these people. That's all we are.
Yeah.
And so what we're looking at with this current situation is a problem reaction solution, or a no problem reaction solution, to create the swine flu virus, to ratchet up, because it's been called a pandemic by the World Health Organization. The World Health Organization, the WHO, is a front for this cabal, and it works with the medical associations in each country. It works with the organizations in each country that's supposed to protect their people from medicines and vaccines that are dangerous by putting it through checks and all the rest of it. They work as one unit. It's the web again. And so when the World Health Organization says there's a pandemic and all the rest of it, and which ratchets everything up, they're not saying it because it's necessarily true. They're saying it because that's what's necessary for the agenda to move forward. And what they're doing is now recommending vaccines on a mass scale, which does what? It gets access to the bodies of the people.
But they're talking about possibly doing forced inoculations in the US, aren't they? Yeah.
Well, this is the thing, Kirk, that I've been saying for a while. This is one of the goals. It's to have compulsory vaccinations, because there are more and more people who are seeing what is happening, at least on one level, and seeing the dangers of vaccines, seeing the nonsense of them in the amount that they're giving to young children. And they're not having their children vaccinated. You know, my son's not been vaccinated, my grandchildren have not been vaccinated, and so they have to try to get those people